Hello, Flosstube. All right, we're gonna try this again. I have no idea what happened last time, but I recorded this once before, was going through to put in my, pictures of what projects looked like, and it started playing back like half speed or something. I mean, it was just really slow motion. And I went, that was while I was editing it. I went back to the actual video that I recorded. It was the same way. So hopefully we'll get through this one without any problems. So hopefully I'll remember to say everything I wanted to say. So if this is your first time, excuse me, welcome. You will find on my channel that I have both cross stitch and card making, paper crafting. So if it says Flosstube, it's my cross stitch, and if it says Facebook Live or something else, then it's my card making and paper crafting. If you're coming back again, thank you. Welcome back. And let's get started so we can get through this and hopefully we won't have any more problems. So what I'll start with are my whips. And this first one is Home for the Winter. It is, artist is Lucy Pitaway, and it's charted by Heaven and Earth. And I spin a wheel to see what full coverage I'm going to work on. I do full coverage Fridays, and this was the full coverage for February. So since the last time I filmed, I got 901 stitches in. For the whole month, I added 2,113. So I'll put a picture in of what it will look like when it's finished. And this is where I am now. So I'm still in the sky. Lots and lots and lots of blue sky. I'm going to be in the blue sky for a long time. So it's a good thing I have other ones to work on so that I'm not only working on blue sky. All my Heaven and Earth are on 28 count, easy count. I like the coverage that I get on that 28 count. Okay. I've got everything unzipped, so hopefully it won't be too noisy. All right, and the next one I worked on, or not the next whip to show you anyway, is a new start. It's called Woodland Friends. I don't know if I can tell if it goes slow or not. We'll see. And this is by Little Dove Designs, and I'm doing this as a birth announcement for my new grandson that will be born later this month. And what I'm going to attempt to do is to leave this flower out at the bottom and maybe these mushrooms if I need to, and put his name and date of birth, and maybe if I have room, how much he weighed and stuff. But this will be a birth announcement for him. And I only worked on it a couple of times, just a couple of Saturdays, I think, and that's where I am. And it is using, I think, all DMC, yes. So I'm just using the called for DMC, and this is on 32 count Barb's Blend, I think. Yes, Barb's Blend by R&R. All right. I have to put the stuff back in so it's not a complete disaster when I get done. Okay. And then for Seasonal Sunday, for January and February, I worked on Shabby Winter Calendar by Kiori Batakori. And that's kind of what it looks like. It's really hard to tell because there's a lot of white stitching and they can't show that up on this, so they've made it like look blue or something. So that's not a very accurate picture, but I did make it all the way across the top. And so what I did lately is this number 4 block here. And I may have finished up this one too, at least for this month. So I stitched 890 stitches on this in the last 2 weeks, and 1,434 total for the month. This should be going away until December, but because of prompts for one of the stitching groups I'm in, Facebook groups, I may have to bring it out and put a couple hundred stitches in for that, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay. The Mirabilia that I worked on, so I do Mira Mondays, and what I worked on for February was Fairy Autumn Glow, and that's what she will look like. And I did 220 stitches in the last 2 weeks and 703 for the month, and this is where she is. She has very pretty colors. I really enjoy working on her. But she will go away until I spin her again for my Mirabilia. All right, and then one of the miscellaneous, so I have full coverage Fridays, and I spin the wheel for that to see which full coverage I'm going to work on that month. Seasonal is just set by the seasons, and then I have Mirror Mondays, and I spin the wheel for that. And then the other, I just spin a miscellaneous wheel to see what I'm going to work on during the week. And so far, this is working well for me. If I get to the point where I want to work on something longer to get it finished, then I'll just do that. It's not set in stone. It's my plan and I can change it. So this is Plum Pudding by Glendon Place. And I was working on these up here and some of this. So I got 747 stitches done on this one. It goes pretty quick. And one of my haul, I don't have much haul to show you, but one of them was to get some more of the silks. There's one that I'm really close to running out on, so I went ahead and picked up some more. It looks like it's a lighter dye lot, so we'll see. And then what I just worked on this past week for my miscellaneous spin. Oh, and that Plum Pudding was on 28 count Sprite. That's the called for fabric. All right, where's my, this is what I worked on this week for my miscellaneous. There it is. Looking for the chart. So this is Block Party Home by Hands On Design. There's a whole series of these block parties. This is the first one I've done. And I'm hoping I can finish it, fully finish it when I'm done. And I have the pins, and it comes with the felt to go on the top. So this one, I only did 454 stitches on. And here's where I am here. So I did this whole house and most of this tree, and then finished some of the ground here. And it's kind of hard to tell, but this grass here, let me see if I can, is Smyrna crosses. So it just gives it a little bit different texture. I'm hoping to get this one completed this year. There are, you have to stitch the top too. I don't think there's any stitching on the bottom. Maybe just some back stitching so you can sew it together, but. All right, let me put this back in here so I don't lose it. And then the last whip I worked on, since I filmed last, is my piece that I work on at lunch, at work. And so I don't have stitch counts or anything like that on this one. I just work on it 30 minutes at lunch. And this is the Big City Christmas by Country Cottage Needleworks. This is the first one, department store. I'm getting close to being done on it. There's where it is. So I just have to finish filling in some snow down here, and the sign and Santa Claus and some snowflakes. So it's getting close. And then backstitch department store there. I don't know if I'll do that when I finish it or wait till I'm done with the whole series, because sometimes when you put a Q-snap over backstitch, that can kind of mess it up. So I may wait. It's not a lot of backstitching, so if I leave it all to the end, it's not going to be a big problem. So far, I think there are 3 of those out. I have 3. I haven't seen, I don't believe, the 4th one yet. Okay. That's everything that I worked on in the last 2 weeks. For my plans, and I'll just show you these as I talk about them. So one of the Facebook groups that I'm in is a Harry Potter group, and it has owls right now as one of the events that we're doing, and I can't remember what it stands for. I really need to look that up. But it's like in the Harry Potter where you earn different, you take exams. And anyway, so there are 12 prompts that they've given us. And you have to find a whip that will fit with that prompt and then stitch 200 stitches on it. So it kind of throws my plans awry a little bit. So I may see what I can get done this weekend on the ones that wouldn't normally fit into my plans, and get those out of the way. So the first one is Ancient Runes, and it's stitched on your oldest whip, which I'm just trying to find it here. Here it is, I think. Is that it? Yeah, I think this is it. And I had to find these within the 22 whips that I'm only allowed to stitch on for Whip Warriors. So my oldest whip is Quick Stitch Psyche's Butterflies, and I'll put a picture in of what it will look like. Or I might have a picture. Oh, I have a picture. I don't have to put one in. So this is what it will look like when it's all done. So yeah, I think I have 2 more pages left to do. But I went ahead and purchased it at one of the sales digitally so I could put it in Pattern Keeper. So this is where I'll be starting from. Some parked threads here. Whoops. And I've heard several people comment how much clearer it is to see in the camera for some reason. The flowers and the butterflies really, the butterfly really pops out when you see it on the screen like that. So I've got it in Pattern Keeper now. I had to go in and mark all the ones that I had already completed. So I did that correctly. So this one will fulfill the prompt for my oldest whip and the piece with a plant because it has those flowers in it. So that will take care of 2 of the prompts for that game. And that I'm going to work on today when I get done filming. Well, a little bit after I get done filming. All right. For arithmancy, you're supposed to stitch on a piece with numbers. That will be the Shabby Winter Calendar. I'll pull that one back out for a little bit. Astronomy, stitch on a piece with moon and stars. So the Grand Library has lots of things in it, and that's what I'll be stitching on. I'll put a picture in of what it will look like when it's finished. And this is where I'm going to be starting from. So all my Heaven and Earth, I think I said this already, are on 28 count, easy guide. So this one will be the moon and stars. And there's also one of the prompts is stitch on a piece with a futuristic element, and it has a flying saucer in it too. So it'll work for that. So that wasn't originally in my plans, but I'll pull it out and do 400 stitches on it to satisfy those prompts. Care of Magical Creatures, stitch on a piece with a land animal. That will be the Woodland Friends I showed you that I'm doing for my grandson. Defense Against the Dark Arts, Reducto, stitch on a piece that starts with R or contains an R in the piece. And so the only one I have on my list of 22 that starts with R is Riverwalk Charm. And so I'll put a picture in of what it will look like when it's finished. And this one I'm converting to Royal Rose. I started it just going everywhere. Then I changed it to diagonal. Now I'm converting it to Royal Rose. But this is where I am on this one. So I'll need to get 200 stitches in on that to fulfill that prompt. Yeah, I showed you those. All right, and then the Mirabilia that I spun for this month is Wherefore Art Thou? And it just happens to fulfill 3 of the prompts for this. So charm, stitch on a piece you were charmed into purchasing, and I'll show you why in a minute. Stitch on a piece you relate to a historical event. So I'm going to say Romeo and Juliet is historical. We'll see if they let me get away with that. I mean, the writing is, if nothing else. And stitch on a piece that contains muggles. And so I'm going to say Juliet is a muggle. So I'll put a picture in of what the whole thing will look like. This was a mystery stitch along. Sometimes with mystery stitch alongs, I want to see what they look like before I purchase them, but anything from Nora Corbett, I'm like, nope, I'll buy it. Not a problem, I don't have to see what it is. So the reason I said I could do, sorry, I hope this isn't too loud, use this for Charmed is when you bought it, when it first came out, it has this painted charm. And I think it's hand painted. And you only got that if you bought it when it first came out as a mystery stitch along. I think you can get the pattern now, but you can't get that charm. That's what I'm using for my Charmed. And it has, I have the bead pack, which will be kind of noisy, but lots of pretty beads. And this is where my stitching is so far. And I believe that's the width of it, but it's got a lot more going up top. And I'm not sure what this fabric is. I'll have to see if I can find it, because I started this at the original local needlework store that I went to, and then they shut down, and now there's one that's just like 10 minutes from my house, which is dangerous. All right, and I think, and then the last prompt is potions ingredient stitch on a piece in a series. And so I'll use the Big City Christmas that I stitch on at home for that one. And then the last plan to show you is for the miscellaneous spin that I did for next week is going to be Aquamarine. This is by Carolyn Manning. And it's really pretty colors. This is stitched on 32 count Artichoke by Witchelt. And this is where I am. Really pretty. The colors, they never come out as good. It's a nice soft green fabric that's a little better that it's stitched on. So those are all my whips, all my plans for the next however long. I have a little bit of haul, not very much, because I have a lot coming next week when my owner of my LNS gets back from market. So next time I film, I should have lots to show you. But I did go by today and pick up some more 28 count easy count or easy guide. There is a new mystery stitch along from the Cross Stitch Studio that I've seen people working on, and I was going to resist until it came out and I could just buy the pattern, but the more I see it, the more I love it, so I've purchased it, and I don't know when I'll start it. I'm itching to start it, but I have one open slot on my Whip Warriors, so that would take it if I decide to start it, so we'll see. And then the next thing is something I got in the mail. This is a series that I'm in with Crazy Annie's, and it's the Annie B's, it's Friesen Season Ornament Club, and this is the second one, Snow in Love, so this is the February one. And I get the fabric with it too. I'm doing them just all individually. And then the last thing I picked up was from Glendon Place. It's a new market, but they got them early. So this is Hungarian Folk Art number 4. And it calls for silky, which I have the silky that goes with the hands-on design pattern, but I haven't ever stitched with it, I don't think. So it might be kind of fun to try. It's really pretty and colorful. And that's it. That's all my haul this time. I already showed you the silk I got. That's it. But like I said, next time I will have lots to show you from market. All right. Hopefully this all worked this time and there's no going to super slow-mo. And I can get this uploaded for you all. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.